Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Wednesday here in Melbourne. Because let's go up to our friends up in Queensland. We're heading to the Queensland's capital, which is Brisbane. And of course, the weekend just gone was the Quafford W, of course, Division 2 Central Grand Final between Sherwood and Jindalee. And Sherwood absolutely put them to the cleaners in front of almost a pretty rainy, overcast day down the Gold Coast because on the weekend, and they won by just over 5 goals against Jindalee. And of course, we've got a very special guest joining us right now to tell us a bit about it. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Will, for having me.
No worries. Well, I'll get you to introduce yourself and tell us what position you played on Grand Final Day.
My name's Emily Robinson, and I played in the backs for the weekend, usually playing in the middle.
Well, tell us about the Grand Final. Won by just over 5 goals in a pretty, wasn't great weather day on the Gold Coast, but tell us a bit about the Grand Final.
So Grand Final, there's a big lead up to it, knowing our previous encounters against Jindalee and how hard we'll have to fight to win. Everyone was very keen to rip in and give it our absolute best. And, the weather wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst we've had. We've had some pretty horrific weather across the last few months, and obviously extended with COVID. Been going through all different sorts of seasons. Lead up to the game was awesome, and then just getting in that first quarter was just cracker. So very exciting.
During the conditions, the margin of victory was pretty huge at the end, 32 points. Kicked a fair bit of goals in that game, and you limited Jags' scoring opportunities throughout that game. As I look through the scores on the weekend, how did you manage to limit their scoring, and especially and sort of maneuver around the ground to get into scoring opportunities and keep so well considering the conditions down there on the Gold Coast?
Main focus for this game against Jindalee was holding our own space and communication, working off each other. And because previous games against Jindalee, we'd noticed we're getting very tight, very congested, and just really trying to get the ball too much. Whereas on the weekend, we really just held our space well. We worked off each other beautifully for the entire first 2 quarters. And those were our highest scoring quarters of the game. Like the second 2 quarters, there was only maybe 4 points scored between each team.
Right.
It was very harsh last half of the game. The second quarter pretty much won the game for us, and it was probably the best amount of skill work we'd done in every single game. Like the lead up to it was phenomenal.
I'm not too familiar with Sherwood's home ground, but I'm assuming like Bon Uni's home ground. Did that ground suit the team to the T in regards to like using that wide spans of the wings there at Bon Uni?
Considering, so Bon's ground is very circular. It's a lot wider than what we're used to. But at Sherwood, we're very much used to using a lot of open space, and it really works well for us. I'd say that probably one of the things that really held us back was the fact that the ground was quite damp. So going for any sort of run and trying to get it bounced in just did not work out well for anyone on either side.
You beat the Jags reasonably easy. When did you felt the game was won and you got the chance to just enjoy the moment of knowing that you won a premiership?
It's hard to say, really, but I think one of the first moments that I knew the game was really on and we were really going to just be like giving us the best go we had was when Tina Higgins went up and just absolutely bodied Jags number 1 Cat, forgotten her last name. Wonderful player, plays really well, and just small little Tina just coming through and absolutely nailing Cat and getting a turnover. It was just, I just knew at that point there that we're in for a great game, and it was going to be very hard, well fought. for the entirety of the game. Once that final siren sort of blew, it was just like, I mean, I had to go and like throw up behind the sheds. I'd been suffering with like mad like adrenaline rushes the entire game. I was just like, I can't go in the middle because I'm gonna throw up on everyone. That's not what I want for a celebration. So yeah, that was my take on it. I'm fairly sure all the girls were incredibly excited, incredibly thrilled, and just super proud of themselves.
I have to ask you, who got to hold the Premiership Cup first once the presentations were sorted?
I think we had Holly Breathwaite. She picked the cup up first, and then she handed it to our captain, Sammy. And then pretty much, God, I think it went around the entire club that night. Everyone took a sip in celebration. So it's done the rounds. Pretty sure everyone's touched it. But yeah, first person I think was probably Holly because she was closest to the presentation table and had to hand it over everyone to Sammy to get the photos.
It's a pretty special day for the club, in particular. Now, obviously, you had your best on ground. That was announced on the day as well. Tell us about her game, and you must tell us now how important she was, and you must tell us who it was. Number one.
So our best on ground was Felicity. Felicity, she came in a bit later than the rest of the girls. She's one of our youngest players, and she made a big move. She's moved from Townsville all the way down to Brisbane. It's her first time leaving home, so it's a big move. And just being around her and getting around her and having that support from the entirety of the Sherwood women's team, I think really hit her hard, and she's really enjoyed the season. And she was in tears by the time we would like finish the presentations and announced her as best on ground. She was just, she was really, really emotionally and very happy.
Are you trying to convince her to stay at Sherwood and not go back to Townsville?
I don't think we have to convince too hard. She's pretty happy to be here. But definitely, being like, hey, come back. We'll have another great season. We're looking at developing into 2 squads for next year, potentially a Div 1 team. Could be exciting.
Mentioned it wasn't the only good story on the weekend for the club. Obviously, one of your youth girls team also won it, which was the 13. So went through almost a whole year undefeated. They won their grand final in a very similar fashion to yourselves. But how good is to see the junior girls get over the line on the same day?
So the under 13s, I had actually been helping out with a bit of coaching just for like tackling practice and a bit of helping them out to sort of reinforce those kicking techniques they need when they're young. And they've done so amazingly all year. We've had them coming to some of our trainings as well, and they fit right in. And it just kind of makes me feel like I really need to step my game up because these girls are like 11 and they're running laps around me. I'm like, my God, they're going to be crazy stars, and they've definitely got big futures ahead of them in AFL. But yeah, watching them play and just like never give up to the final siren was really inspiring and just made me really emotional. Like, I'm so proud of them and everything they've done all this year. So yeah, it was really awesome to watch and see and be a part of.
And obviously you were involved with the 13s in the coaching side of things. And obviously you're now a Premiership player as well in the senior women's. I know this is going to sound a really silly question to ask, but which one is more special to you? Which one does it mean more to you?
I have to go under 13s just because seeing all the things that I've been trying to help them learn and do, and then watching them do that on game day flawlessly was just amazing to see. And it just, I don't know, it gave me like a warm, fuzzy feeling inside, which, don't get often, but and it was just really awesome to see. And they just kept fighting all day, and it was a very hot day on Saturday. out at Urunga. Very warm, and with the new like water runner rules being like you could only run on when there was like a set goal type thing, it was very hard for them. So I'm super proud.
Now, just going back to your team, tell us a bit about your amazing coach.
Mitchell Merritt, the man, the myth, the legend. Great man, very positive. If I have to give him a spirit animal, it'd have to be a Labrador. He's just very much bouncing around everywhere and hitting everyone up, being like, hey, you want to play AFL? And yeah, he's very encouraging, super positive. He's easily frazzled, but just a great man in general.
Having the Premiership medal around your neck on the day, how long did you wear your Premiership medal around your neck for? And did you sleep with it?
I did sleep with it, yes. I'm pretty sure everyone in the team slept with it on. I did take it off for a little bit whilst we went out clubbing, but that was just to keep it safe. I think I do have it here somewhere.
Oh,
yeah. So,
would you like to wear it? Would you like to wear it in?
Oh, hell yeah. Of course right. I do. I had this. Yeah. That one for the win. Yeah, so pretty much put it on, never took it off. And great night. Woke up with it, still had it.
You had a chance to have a photo with the Premiership Cup as well throughout the day.
I think I did, yeah, probably a couple times.
So, and I'm assuming you had a chance to hold it as well. Now, I know you're not supposed to do this during COVID times, but did you kiss the Premiership Cup?
Kiss it? No, we drank from it.
That's close
enough. One at a time, I think. Not quite sure, but yeah, use it every year. It's what you're meant to do. It's what it's for.
Yeah, exactly.
Glorious drink.
Yeah. Now, how did you get involved in footy and why did you choose it?
Oh, that's actually a great question. So I always have been playing like touch football, rugby sevens, and then I went to rugby league last year. And both my parents are from Victoria. Like my mum's from Geelong and her entire family are Cats supporters. So great win for them against GWS on the weekend too. And so they were always kind of like, you know, AFL's a great sport, should really get into it, but never really did, even though I had a couple of opportunities in like primary school to maybe have a go. And then my elder sister, Alicia, who's also part of the team, but had to move partway through the season for her job in Alice Springs for nursing. She was like, come have a go. Like, I reckon you'd be great at it. So yeah, it was kind of like a sister bonding moment. And I've just kind of fallen in love with it ever since.
Mention right at the start what position you play on the field. If you had a preferred position where you like to convince your coaches to put you next year, where would that be?
Definitely keep me in the middle. Keep me in the middle. Anywhere around the ruck, just to sort of bully and push people around and get the ball out. That's the greatest spot to be. Lots of running though. Might have to work on that.
What does the sport of footy mean to you, especially being there at Sherwood?
It means the world to me. I didn't think it would. I thought it would just like give it a go and sort of have a feel for it. But here at Sherwood, the women's team here is so supportive and everyone's so friendly and open. I'm really lucky that this is one of the first clubs I've come to and how wonderful it's been. I'd say probably the only downside is the fact that it's kind of a Collingwood associate club, but otherwise I'm happy to be around it. Love the club, love Sherwood, and love the women's team. Great stuff.
What would be your advice to people out there, and that, you know, can be from, you know, junior girls, youth girls, to the same women's that should get involved in footy, especially there at Sherwood?
Oh yeah. My one advice would just be, remember it's footy and have fun. Like Saturday Sunday sport is meant to be fun. And if you're not having fun, I really urge you to find a way to make it fun. Because women in sport is incredibly important, especially for youth, and we need to keep the numbers there. So even to the coaches, keep it fun for you girls, because we want to keep them around. We want to keep them healthy and fit.
Finish up with a couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates. Firstly, who had the most embarrassing moment on the field this season, and what was it?
It might have been our captain. I think she got kicked in the face by one of our players from the ball. And it was like really close to goal too. I'm not even sure if I was playing that game, but something like that happened. I'm pretty sure it was Sammy. I felt so bad.
Who's the comedian, the best singer, and the best dancer on the team?
For me, it'd probably have to be Jaden, our ruckman, one of our ruckmen. Best dancer has to go to Tui. And best singer, might have to give that one to Olivia Bell. Actually, she would have to be best dancer too. We have really good dancers. I'm not going to lie. We've got a team full of dancers. Singing, maybe Samara, also known as Samira. On a night out, we call her Samira. Yeah.
So how was the Premiership celebrations, and is it still going?
So Premiership celebrations, pretty much the drive back to Sherwood was a long one, but we all got back here. We all sung the club song like 3 more times on the oval. It was great. Drinks were flowing. Everyone was having a great time. Had a bar tab. That was cool. Unfortunately, because of our men's team, there was no fireball left over, but we'd survived with a bit of tequila. And pretty much went right through to the morning, then went out clubbing, and then went back home and survived with like little to no sleep. And then survived with some chicken nuggets the next day. Chicken nuggets were the savior of our bender.
I have to ask, do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
And it's so silly. It's pretty much, I have to eat food 3 hours before the game, because otherwise it's not going to be a good game. It doesn't make sense, but it does work.
Yeah.
And then it's also the socks. The socks, I have to wear one pair of socks there and change into my playing socks when I get to the field.
Is there any good nicknames on the team we should know about?
Quite a few, actually. So Felicity, we call her Flick. Basically everything's just shortened. Like if it's Jaden, it's Jado. If it's Georgia, it's G. I'm one of 3 Emilys, so they go by my last name and call me Robbo. It was Robbo number 2 at the start of the season until my sister left, and now I'm just Robbo. So there's a couple of ones. There's lots of them, actually. Well, I'll have to show you the whiteboard with all of our like team names on it, because they've got all of them.
Did your team have a fine system this year? And if so, who copped the most fines this year, and what was it for?
Oh, it was definitely Jado. She'd just leave clothes everywhere. She'd leave her sandals, she'd leave jumpers, she'd forget boots, she'd forget socks. Like, the amount of times that she had a $2 fine was ridiculous. But I think I got maybe 3 fines after the weekend just for like being late. And then like not having my shoes tied quick enough. I don't know, something silly. But I was just like, put on my tab, because I just put $50 in at the start of the year, and I was like, if that goes out by the end of the season, sue me.
Is doing this interview part of the fine as well?
No, actually, surprisingly not. Although I might get a fine if this ends up on social media. Hopefully I have enough left on the tab to let that one slide. Just don't show
but-
Grace, because if she finds it, I'm done for.
We'll see how we go. But Em, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. From all of us here at Smash FM, congratulations on the win on the weekend.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved. Enjoy watching back and reliving that grand final again tonight. And as I said, please send our congratulations to the rest of your teammates for us tonight. And hopefully there'll be more to come in future years to come.
We'll see you again next year, maybe. Very much, Will. Thanks for having me.
No worries. That's no worries. And that's Emily Robinson there, joins from the Sherwood Football Club, of course, after their premiership win by 32 points over Jindalee down there at Bond Uni, of course, on the weekend. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.